Hello, adventurers! When you enter a world away from your own, make sure you look the part. Stand out if you want, or blend in to sneak around, but the key is to do it with intention. But before we can even get to level 1, we all pass through character creation mode. This can be expensive and overwhelming, but it defines who you are and what you'll become. So to guide you through this treacherous process, here are my notes on building a traveling garb for the first summer conquest of my own, showing you what I already owned, repurposed and purchased to take the adventure from the table to the tross. Instead of heading to the market to empty my purse, I looked in my closet to see what's there first. So there are a few items I already owned in my regular closet that I could repurpose for an event like this. Namely 3 linen pants, because linen pants are simply awesome and the cut might be different, but they fit almost every setting. The other key piece I already owned was this hooded cloak from Critical Role. I bought it because it looked very unique, but I rarely had the opportunity to wear it, so I thought this should certainly be a key part of my fit. And actually, it inspired the backstory of my character as well. For footwear, I also had some black sandals that would definitely fit the aesthetics. And for accessories, I already had some leather bracelets that I bought at medieval markets, and a few dice bags, of course, that I could tie around my waist. So my closet provided the base and the bones. I still needed the markets for the right character tones. Where I reside, we're quite fortunate with a handful of medieval markets throughout the summer months. This is a great place to purchase a few key items. Where it started for me was with this green sleeveless shirt and a white tunic. Those definitely fit the part and started to shape the basis of my character. But what brings this all together is a simple leather belt. To already bring up one key lesson, it's that there is never enough belts. Belts really tie the outfit together and turn a random tunic into an outfit. Talking about tunics, on a special day, I also bought a green tunic from the world's largest vendor, namely from the tailor Leonardo Carbone. It was very affordable and of decent quality, but to no one's surprise, I have to admit, as soon as I stepped onto the grounds of the game, I saw hundreds of others wearing the same. So just be aware that this can happen if you look for the simplest option. Now, money can buy you a kit off the shelf, but to tell the full story, you must make it yourself. There were a few pieces of kit that I really wanted that I didn't really find the right fit at the markets. And one key element is to have some kind of bag. And I found this very easy tutorial to make a simple messenger bag that I sewed out of some old curtains. And while the belt is really important to shape your silhouette, bracers are a real key to giving you texture. So I made a very basic pair out of materials I had lying around. And when all the crafting and sewing was done, I still had to face the heat of the sun. To really complete my kit, I also added a few modern elements that just helped me stay out in the elements for longer. And I think that is totally fine if you layer it in and if you blends with the rest of your outfit. So in my particular case, I had this silver looking UV protection shirt, and I call it Elven armor, which really just protected my very fair body from any sunburn. As well as a well-loved hiking hat, and even though I eventually replaced that hat at the event, it really served me well for a few key moments. Because I built for the heat and I built for the trail, but I still found a merchant to finish the tale. One thing I had my eye on at all the medieval markets was like this classic Robin Hood hat. I tried one on at one of the markets, but it was very, very vibrantly green and it didn't quite fit with the rest of my outfit. But walking around Conquest in the Tross, there were so many different vendors, and I eventually did find my By Coquette hat, as it's called, as well as a lovely feather for it. And on a random walk, a merchant made me buy a hat candle, which serves no other purpose than to be whimsical and fun. The pieces were found, the look was complete. Let's put it together from head to the feet. Before I even decided if I needed something else or needed to purchase something new, I pulled out everything I owned and tried it on in different combinations, while also taking photos of it. What I noticed from that is that I naturally already had a blue outfit and a green outfit. And that gave me a key insight for my character, because the green outfit essentially turned into my traveling gear, a way I could blend in with the regular folk and travel unharmed. And the blue outfit was the official vestments of my order, which I call the Sapphire Veil. You see, I took the cloak of the Cobalt Soul as an inspiration for my own monastery and built a little story around it for myself. While this vest inspired the character idea, I really want to make a new version of it that is truly my own. Now the outfit was finished, the search was all through, but looking back now, I got a new view. So the basic key to having an authentic fit for your character is really layering. Yes, you can throw on a tunic over pants you already own, but layering that with ribbons, bracelets, necklaces, a belt, maybe a cloak, that is what adds all the texture that makes it feel alive and gives your character a story. This is really what sets the NPCs apart from most player characters. The NPCs are so decked out with little tiny details that just add texture and little moments there that keep your eyes glued to them. And my approach really worked well for me as a non-combat character. I didn't look for massive armor, pauldrons, or even a gambeson. If that is who you want to play, it probably needs a serious investment. But also remember that you don't have to start there. You can work your way up. The most surprising insight was how many modern items you can actually incorporate into a fantasy outfit if you layer it well. One thing I was concerned about, and a really common concern I see, is the shoes. But the reality is that this is the least looked upon item across the field. The highest standard is that you want to be safe and comfortable. Nothing good comes from having the perfect fit, but being hurt at the end of the day. But the real lesson this summer conquest taught me was about being recognizable. One little quest I undertook was finding a particular person and sending them to a camp. But all I had was a handwritten note with a very brief description and a small symbol. Yet this alone was enough for me to successfully identify the person and complete the quest. On the other hand, if you're simply a bearded guy with a green tunic, it might be really hard to stand out from the crowd. So for the next adventure, I'm looking to make a few small improvements to become a little bit more recognizable myself. To make sure this all fits well together, I conjured up a closet compendium, one place accessible from anywhere that shows me at a glance the items, old, new, and handmade, to help me only spend coin if it truly adds value and makes good use of the images I've taken so far. And in case you want to build up a collection of your own, cast Duplicity and it may be yours. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope you share it with a friend who wants to bring a little bit more fantasy to their wardrobe as well.